All right, got off early today, so I can't complain, but welcome to the Cactus Dave Show. You can call in and give me your thoughts, 619-800-5622. Anyways, we're going to talk about, wealth equality, class consciousness, as they say. But my mom told me this crazy story the other day. My mom works in insurance, and she insures people who are in LA, and unfortunately a lot of people lost their homes and all that, and people are being displaced. And a lot of places that got burned down are really wealthy people and really wealthy areas. But she's telling me, she's talking to this like really, really, really rich dude, and he has like a rental property that's worth $5 million or something like that. And he has his main residence. So basically what he said to my mom was he called her up and he's like, hey, my tenants are not going to be living in my rental property. I'm moving in there. And I'm going to leave my house and I'm going to rent it out. And this guy said that basically someone whose house had burned down knocked on his front door, okay, and said, hey, I'll pay you $68,000 a month to rent out your place. Not $6,800, $68,000 to rent out your place. Now, what kind of house goes for $68,000 a month in rent? I don't know. It must be the size of Costco or something. But this rich dude was just like, okay. And that was just wild to me, right? I couldn't imagine anyone coming to my place and saying, I'll give you a junk ton of money. Well, I don't even own a place, so it's not even possible. My parents are new homeowners. My mom was like, yeah, I mean, on one hand, it's kind of sad because, like, think about the trickle-down effect of all that, right? Like, all these people with a lot of money are taking up these rental places. And my mom was saying what she's nervous about. Now, my mom doesn't work in health insurance, obviously, so don't go after her. But what she was saying was like, okay, these people here are going around and they're kicking these people out. And then these people are going to kick these people. It's just going to be a cascading thing to where working class families are probably going to get kicked out of their place or have a harder time renting because with the fires and stuff, the whole market blew up. But it was just wild to me. First of all, $68,000, but then also just the ramifications that this has for other people, the way that it impacts other families and other people. And really, who are the people who are going to suffer the most from this? It's going to be people who are eventually priced out, who can't even own a home. And then what's going to happen when people can't even rent a home? So that was wild, but it just got me thinking like about the scope. I didn't grow up with money. We never had money, as a kid. My parents worked super hard. I was a kid of a teen parent, like all that stuff. I paid my way through everything. And I thought I was middle class, I thought, I have a full-time job. I have an education and all that. I thought I was middle class. I'm starting to realize that there's no such thing as the middle class. And really, I'm the working class. And I think this whole class structure is being used to, give us a false sense of where we are and to kind of hide the way that the system actually works. And there are many, my mom's just one person, but there are many, many, many people who, adjusting a little bit here. There are many, many people who have the money and the coin to spend $68,000 in rent. And they're good for that money for God knows how long without even having a job. It's wild, but it's crazy the way that the class system is so out of whack. And it just got me thinking and realizing just there is no middle class. Look at someone like Homer Simpson, for example. Simpsons have been on for decades now. When the Simpsons first started, they were a working class family. But this is what they had, okay? They had a stay-at-home mom. They had, kids, they had a house with a backyard and a garage. Now, obviously this is fictional, but they had a 4-bedroom house, maybe a few thousand square feet, and one income, one stay-at-home parent. You get the gist. And at the time that the show was created, they were a working class, hardworking family. But what does that make them now? Like, I don't even own a home. Now the Simpsons would be a rich family, and it's just fascinating to me to see how things have changed and see how the class structure has changed, and what it took to be in the middle class or what it took to be in the working class is almost like impossible for people now. I mean, to own a home anywhere for many people, it's like a pipe dream. I mean, I have money in the bank, like we make decent money, and we have good careers that are solid with insurance, which is far higher than a lot of other people. But I mean, I don't have $100,000 in the bank just to drop on a house or anything like that, and nobody really does. But it just kind of got me thinking about where we are, and we're starting to see the cracks happen. We're starting to see the cracks because people are getting frustrated. There's all these YouTubes, I sound like an old person. There's all these, there's an algorithmic movement about people not caring about work, people kind of giving up, people just kind of throwing in the towel. And that comes from somewhere, because if you're making good money, if you're making enough money to survive, like, you're not really going to these places where you're like, what is this all for? I mean, if you had enough money to get by and to live comfortably, like, you're happy, you're doing okay and all that. Like, maybe you can afford to buy a house, or maybe you can, go on a vacation. And those things were middle class, working class, normal, I don't know, functions. Like that's what happened with people's lives, maybe 20, 30 years ago. But now that is like a high class thing to be able to own a house and go on the vacation and get a couple weeks of vacation and get health care. Like, that is a pipe dream for so many different people now. And it's wild to me because we're starting to see people check out and look at the game and say, like, no, it's just too rigged. It doesn't make sense and it doesn't work for me. So now you have people who are, quitting being doctors and lawyers, and they're like living out of their cars and doing the vagabond lifestyle and living minimally. But to me, like, I wonder, like, what's going to happen when people enough people, because people have figured this out, enough people have figured out, like, okay, this isn't worth it. And then we stop buying stuff. Like, I don't buy clothes. I don't buy the newest phone. Like, I don't do any of that because it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I just wonder what's going to happen. But yeah, if you think you are in middle class, you're probably not. Honestly, you're probably not. You're probably lower than that. And you probably worked really hard, and you probably think you should be, so you just kind of assume that you're in the middle class because you worked hard. Maybe you got your degree or your vocational certification, or you learned your trade and mastered it. You might fall into any of those categories, but in all reality, you're not middle class. And man, I think we're just over it. I think we've just kind of hit our breaking point. And I think that people who are outside of the working class, who are above that or in a higher economic status, I don't think they get it, because I think that, we get told the economy's great by a bunch of people, but I don't believe it. Everyone's struggling. I'm struggling. And I see myself as a hard worker and someone who, does their best to make it happen and who's made a lot of good decisions in life, but it's still tough for me. So when they say, the economy's good, it's booming, we got the most jobs, honestly, I don't totally buy it. I don't buy it one bit. But it is good for the people who it's good for. And the people who are telling us whether or not we have a good or strong economy, whether or not people are making enough money, are the ones who've made enough money, the ones who aren't struggling. But yeah, give me your thoughts. 619-800-5622. Can you afford $68,000 in rent? What does that mean to you? Like, what would you do in that situation? I don't know, but call in and I'll respond to you in a future video. You guys be good. Good luck. Make your money and find your freedom, and don't be too worried about the future. because sometimes it feels like no matter how hard you try, it's going to be a little bit crazy. So, all right, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.